Good morning, students. Let's begin our history class. In continuation of my second video, History NCRT Chapter 1 from the beginning of time, today's contents are fossils of early humans found in which region? Ice Age, modern human being, center of origin, ways of obtaining food from trees to caves and open air sites, and making tools. Now we are going to see the places where the evidence or fossils of different species found. The fossils of Homo habilis have been discovered at Omo in Ethiopia and at Olduvai Gorge in Tanzania. The fossils of Homo erectus found in Africa and Asia, the name of particular places given like Kobe Fora and West Turkana, Kenya, Mozorkorto, and Sangiran Java. So these places found in Africa and Asia. The fossils of Homo sapiens found in place, the name is already given and we have discussed. The earliest fossils from Europe are Homo uh, heidelbergensis and Homo neanderthalensis. So both the places on the name, and these names are the Heidelberg and Neanderthal, both are in Germany, and both belong to the species of archaic, that is old, Homo sapiens. The fossils of Homo heidelbergensis zero point 0.8 to zero point 0.1 million a year ago have wide distribution, having been found in Africa, Asia, and Europe. The Neanderthalensis occupied Europe and Western and Central Asia roughly through 1,30,000 to 35,000 years ago. Now, in this topic, we are going to see like around 2.5 million years ago, with the onset of phase of glaciation or ice age, when large parts of the earth were covered with snow, there were major change in climate and vegetation. Due to the reduction in temperature as well as rainfall, grassland areas expanded at the expense of forest, leading to the gradual extinction of early forms of Australopithecus that were adapted to the forest, and the replacement by species that were better adapted to the drier condition. Among these were the earliest representatives of the genus Homo. Now we are going to see the story of human evolution, modern human being. The issue of the place of origin of modern human has been much debated. Two totally divergent views have been expounded, one advocating the regional continuity model with multiple region of origin, the other replacement model with a single origin in Africa. So now I am going to discuss a single origin of Africa or the replacement model. According to the replacement model, it visualizes the complete replacement everywhere of all older forms of human with the genetic and anatomical homogeneity of modern humans. Those who suggest this argue that the enormous similarity among us modern human is due to their descent from a population that originated in single region, which is Africa. The evidence of the earliest fossil of modern human from Homo in Ethiopia also supports the replacement model. Scholars who hold this view suggest that the physical differences observed today among modern humans are result in the adaptation over a span of thousands of years by populations who migrated to the particular region where they finally settled down. So this is replacement model. Now we are going to discuss regional continuity model. According to the regional continuity model, the archaic Homo sapiens in different regions gradually evolved at different rate into modern humans, and hence the variation in the first appearance of modern humans in different part of the world. The argument is based on the regional differences in the feature of present day humans. Early humans' ways of obtaining food. Now, we are going to discuss how human uh, obtain food, or what are the ways they obtain their food. Early humans would have obtained food through a number of ways. Here I am going to explain gathering and hunting, and then scavenging and fishing. When we talk about gathering, it involves collecting plant food such as seeds, nuts, berries, fruits, and tubers. Gathering was practice is generally assumed rather than conclusively established, as there is very little direct evidence for it. The only other way of getting information about plant intake would be if plant remains were accidentally burned. This process result in the carbonization. In this form, organic matter is preserved for a long span of time. Hunting probably began later, about 5 lakh year ago. The earliest clear evidence for the deliberate planned hunting and butchery of large mammal come from two sites, and these two sites name Boxgrove in southern England, and the time period is 5 lakh years ago, and Schöningen in Germany 4 lakh years ago. So these two places, the evidence are found of the hunting. So from about 35,000 years ago, there is evidence of planned hunting from some European sites also, where the people seems to be collect in the riverside deliberately, and herds where the herds of migratory animals such as reindeer and horse probably cross the river during the autumn and spring migration time and were killed on a large scale. So these are the sites where the evidence was found. Then we are going to see the third point, scavenging. When we talk about the scavenging, the early hominids scavenged or forage means to search for food, for meat and marrow from the carcasses of animals that had died naturally or had been killed by other predator. It is equally possible that a small mammals such as rodent, birds, and their eggs, reptile, and every insect such as termites were eaten by the early hominids. So these are the food through the scavenging. And last food habit is fishing. Fishing was also important as it is evidence from the discovery of fish bones at different size. Now we are going to see early humans topic from trees to caves and open air sites. Thousands of flake tools and hand axes have been excavated at the two places like uh, Kilombe and Olero Jaisili. So we are on surer ground when we are trying to reconstruct the evidence for pattern of residence. One way of doing this is by plotting the distribution of artifacts. When we talk about artifacts, these are objects that are made by human being. The term can refer to wide range of things like tools, painting, sculpture, and engravings. So, for example, thousands of flake tools and hand axes have been excavated at Kilombe and Oler Jaisli, that is in Kenya. These finds are dated between 7 lakh and 5 lakh years ago. Behind traces of their activities and presence, including artifacts, the despotic or deposited artifacts would appear, such as patches on the landscape. The places that were less frequently visited would have fewer artifacts, which may have been scattered over the surface. So, places where the most of the time more people visited found the evidence, and the where the things are not obtaining, people not visited. So artifacts found in the place where the people visited most. Then it is Most important to remember, the same location could have been shared by hominids, other primates, and carnivores. All these categories live on a same place. Uh, uh, there is a reason behind it. Now we are going to see the evidence between 4 lakh and 125,000 years ago, or 1 lakh 25,000 years ago, caves and open air site begin to be used. Evidence for this comes from site in Europe. In Lazarete Cave in southern France, a 12 by 4 meter shelter was built against the cave wall. Inside it, two huts and evidence of different food sources: fruit, vegetables, seeds, birds' egg, freshwater fish, uh, the perch and carp and trout. At another site, Terra Amata, on the coast of southern France, Flemish shelter with roofs of wood and grasses were built for the short term season. So, places are baked clay and burnt bone along with the stone tools dated between 1.4 to 1 million year ago have been found in the places of Kashwanja. A natural bushfire or volcanic eruption, the result of the things are destroyed, and these places are in Africa. So after this, we are going to see the use of fire and their advantage. There are some indications of the controlled use of fire. This had several advantages. Fire provide warmth, light inside cave, and could be used for cooking. Beside, fire was used to harden wood. As for instance, the tip of a spear, the use of heat also facilitated the flaking of tools. As important, fire could be used to scare away dangerous animal. Now the topic is early humans making tools. The earliest evidence for the making and use of stone tools comes from site in Ethiopia and Kenya. It is likely that the earliest stone tool makers were Australopithecus, not Homo habilis. So earliest word make it that the earliest tool makers were Australopithecus, not Homo habilis. About this is 35,000 years ago. Improvement in the techniques for killing animals are evident from the appearance of new kinds of tool such as spear throwers and the bow and arrow. The meat thus obtained was probably processed by removing the bones, followed by drying, smoking, and storage. Thus, food could be stored for later consumption. Then there were other changes such as trapping of fur bearing animal to use the fur for clothing and invention of sewing needle. The earliest evidence of sewn clothes comes from about 21,000 years ago. These kind of questions consider for 1 mark. Beside with the introduction of punch blade technique to make small chisel like tools, it was now possible to make engravings on bone, antler, ivory, or wood. Now, this picture will surprise you. This is the picture of coronavirus. You are very much familiar with it. As lockdown period is going on, my humble request to my students, after going through with all my videos 1 and 2, and probably I will share third one also, start making questionnaire 1 mark question, so that it make you familiar with the pattern, as day by day the 1 mark question increase in question paper pattern. That's all for today. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.